here feeling that you are empowered with more knowledge than you came here with. The main intent of this whole program is to give you an education so that when you go in for service for your automobile, you're not going to be taken advantage of, because it happens way too often in this industry and I can't stand it. And the best way to do that is to educate people. That's where we come up with knowledge is power. AC Delco is the person that has put this knowledge is power seminar together. We want to answer all your questions. We want you to leave here feeling that you are empowered with more knowledge than you came here with. HVAC. Anybody have any idea what HVAC means? It's one of those automotive acronyms. Heating, ventilation, air conditioning. That's your comfort zone inside your car. Turn on your ventilation, your heater, your air conditioning. Turn the temperature up, turn the temperature down, keep air moving, because if you sat in a car that was completely sealed up, you would suffocate. That is what an average General Motors HVAC control looks like. They vary in everybody's car. I'm sure you're all familiar with the ones in your own automobiles. The radiator, that's the thing in the front of the engine that houses the coolant, that transfers the heat from the coolant to the air that's passing through it. That's what keeps your engine running cool. The condenser is for your air conditioning. Your freon, or refrigerant, flows through it as it carries the heat out of the inside of your car. It's dissipated through its fins with the air blowing across it. So that is the device that actually takes the heat off of the refrigerant. The refrigerant collects the heat from inside the car. The cooling fan, it's a mechanical or an electrical device that's mounted on or near the radiator. It actually draws the air across the radiator and condenser. If that cooling fan should happen to quit, you won't get airflow across your radiator or your condenser. You'll lose your air conditioning and your engine will overheat. You do not want your engine to overheat. The hoses, they route the coolant through the radiator, through your heater core, through your engine, get it from various places from here to there. Some of these import cars have 12 to 14 different coolant hoses on them. They get very costly to replace, unfortunately. The thermostat, this is the device that regulates the operating temperature of your engine. It's closed when it's cold. That allows the coolant to heat up. The faster your engine heats up, the more efficient it's going to run, the less pollution it's going to put out in the shortest period of time. It will also keep the coolant temperature up so that you can have heat inside the car. If your thermostat was missing, your coolant could flow through the system so fast it would never have a chance to dissipate its heat off through the radiator. Or it can never heat up enough to where you get heat coming out of the inside of your car. The water pump is a mechanical device usually that's belt driven that causes the water or coolant to flow through your engine, through your radiator, through your hoses and your heater core. The heater core is usually mounted inside your car. It has a blower motor that will blow air across its fins, transferring the heat from the heater core to the inside of your car to keep you nice and warm. Some cars have a coolant reservoir or a surge tank. When they make these cars so compact and the front end so slopey, they really tuck those radiators in and hide them. You have no way to put coolant in it. So often a remote location, usually on the fender someplace, they'll have one of these bottles or tanks, and that's where you actually put the coolant in. If it's like this, that radiator cap that's on there, if you open that when it's hot, hot coolant will spray out and it will burn you. If it is a surge tank or an overflow tank that's not pressurized, you can check your coolant in there at any time. But you got to know what it is. If you open it and it's hot, you've got a problem. So the best thing is always check it first thing in the morning when it's cold. If you have a radiator cap on your radiator, that's the time to check that to make sure that it's functioning. If your radiator cap fails, it's not going to transfer coolant in and out of that overflow bottle. So your bottle could actually be full, and your radiator could be empty. So you want to periodically check and make sure that there is fluid in that radiator.